Ladies and gentlemen, hello there. It's January, which means it's time for the NFL playoffs. And we're the freaking number one seed of the NFC. It's unbelievable. But yes, playoff time has come. So without further ado, it's time to bring back a prediction series that has been dead for a long time. But now, we're finally back, and the timing could not be any more perfect. Let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? It is Railroad Racer 49 2005 here, and yes, we are back. You see the jersey, you see the bling, you see the hat. It is time to do NFL predictions. Now, I know I missed the regular season, but here's why. We were in the middle of a move, I didn't have anywhere to put the helmets, and I was kind of not motivated to make full videos for my predictions. So I just did it on community posts, and I didn't do too bad. I only got a few losing records and a tie, which came with a Sunday night game with the Cowboys and Packers. Yeah, wow, that was something. But anyways, here we are for the playoffs. I've got my full gear, and I've also got my Sea Dragon mascot, Lily, right here. She's kind of in the background right there. But yeah, we are here, 14 teams remain, a few rounds to go, and it's a road to the Super Bowl in Santa Clara. So without further ado, let's get right into the NFL playoff predictions, and let's take a look at the teams that we have lined up to go to the Super Bowl. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are with our football field. You can see the 14 teams that are in the playoffs this year. You got the AFC, and you have your number one seed, and the NFC and its number one seed. And all of them are looking to grab this beauty in Santa Clara, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Who do I think is going to go to the Super Bowl and win it all? Let's begin my NFL playoff predictions and find out. And so, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. So we're going to start with the AFC first. We have the 5th seed Houston Texans going in to face the 4th seed Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Texans, they almost won the South, but let's just say that Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars absolutely put the belt to the Titans, so the division was pretty much theirs. But the Texans did still manage to have a good season, and the defense on that team looks really good, really dang good. As for the Steelers, you could say that they basically got into the playoffs by dumb luck. I mean, if Tyler Luke does not miss that field goal in Pittsburgh last week, the Ravens go to face the Texans. But wow, missed a 44-yard field goal, and now the Pittsburgh Steelers have a chance in the playoffs. And while I do think the Steelers will try to pull something out, you got to remember, this is Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, and they're probably not going to do anything, which basically leads to who I have winning this game. I do not see the Pittsburgh Steelers making it past the first round, especially with how absolutely scary that Texans defense is. I think this game will somehow still be close, but in the end, Houston will be the one that will get it done in, it's not called Heinz Field anymore, but you know what? Heinz Field sounds more catchy and rolls off the tongue. I don't know why they changed it. But anyways, the terrible towels will not be waving in Pittsburgh at the very end as the Houston Texans strive on into the divisional round. Moving on, we got the 6th seed Buffalo Bills going in to face the 3rd seed Jacksonville Jaguars. The Bills have had about an up and down season. I mean, they've had some good games, but they've also had some games where they just really have been able to execute. But at the end of it all, they still managed to make the playoffs either way, even though they did not manage to win the AFC East again. As for the Jaguars, they started off a little rough, but man, recently they have been red hot with Trevor Lawrence. And after putting up 41 points in the Titans, I definitely think this Jaguars team is legit, and I think they can make a deep run. But anyways, who do I think is going to win this game? Do I think Josh Allen and the Bills will have a chance to possibly take this one? Or do I think that Trevor Lawrence, Jaguars, and Duval will be able to keep the ball rolling into the playoffs? Listen, man, Jacksonville is just on too much of a roll for me to not pick them. They have been red hot, like I said. I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to move on to the next round. I do think the Bills will definitely try to make it an interesting game, but in the end, I think it'll be the Jacksonville Jaguars that celebrate a win in the playoffs, and they'll be moving on to the divisional round. And last but not least for the AFC in the wild card, we got the 7th seed Los Angeles Chargers going in to face the 2 seed New England Patriots. The Chargers have had a bit of a rough road to get here, but they did manage to make the playoffs. So, that's all I really can say about LA. The Patriots, well, they have had a good record. I will say there's a big asterisk to that because a lot of the teams they faced aren't really that competitive. They faced a lot of cupcake-like teams this season, and that's why their record is so high. I honestly feel like the Patriots are Mickey Mouse division champions. Like, I don't think they fully deserved it, knowing the teams they've played, and I don't really think I consider them a legit Super Bowl contender. But if they do manage to get far in the playoffs and beat teams that are actually legit, I would probably say I might have respect for them, even though I'm not a huge fan of New England. They're not as worse as they were with Brady and Belichick, so yeah, but even then, still a cupcake schedule. But even then, this is the LA Chargers they're facing, have a lot of injuries. They haven't really been that consistent. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Chargers. I just can't do it. I just can't pick the Chargers for this game. I mean, maybe they could surprise me, but they just really have not, shown, actual, legit contention this season. I mean, and they're really not that great of a team, so I think New England should beat them. And this is a home game in New England, so this should be a win for the Patriots as they will move on to the divisional round. And now moving on to the NFC. We have the 5th seed Los Angeles Rams going in to face the 4th seed Carolina Panthers. Ooh, regular season rematch. So if you don't know, a few weeks ago, these teams did meet up in the regular season, and the Panthers ended up beating them. And let's just say the Rams, well, they've had a good season. They've been on kind of a little bit of a collapse the last few weeks. They lost to Carolina, then they come to Seattle, and we beat them. We come back from a 16-point deficit. That was an amazing game. You can already tell, I uploaded a YouTube short already of my live reaction of that, and yeah, dude, that was amazing. I actually cried that night. But anyways, and then the Rams, they lost to the Falcons. Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. They did beat the Cardinals, but still not a good stretch by LA. Meanwhile, the Panthers have fought tooth and nail to get here, and basically since the NFC South is a garbage division that nobody wants to win. I mean, Tampa had chances to win, but they just were on a straight collapse. The Saints really have not been good this year, and the Falcons are the Falcons. So, yeah, Carolina almost kind of felt like they kind of just won this division by default from the way it looks. And while I know there's a lot of people that probably would pick the Rams to win this game, I'm thinking back to that regular season game they played and was also in Carolina, and also knowing how the Rams have been kind of on a bit of a bad stretch. I don't know. I smell something. It smells like absolute collapse. That's what it smells like. I feel like the Rams are just going to collapse in the playoffs. I feel like they're going to lose this game. I am going to take the Carolina Panthers to upset the Los Angeles Rams. Am I doing this because I'm a Seahawks fan and I want to see my division rivals lose? Maybe. But I also have good proof to have the Carolina Panthers win this game because they've already beaten LA and the Rams have been kind of struggling lately. So, I think the Panthers have a solid chance in this one. So I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers to win in probably a close matchup, but in the end, it will be Carolina somehow, some way, by the skin of their teeth, moving on to the divisional round when nobody expected them to. Come on, Carolina, rooting for you guys. Would love for you to take out the Rams for good. Moving on, we got the 6th seed San Francisco 49ers going in to face the 3rd seed Philadelphia Eagles. This is kind of a rematch of an NFC Championship game from a few years ago. And if you remember that game, that is the game where the starting quarterback, Brock Purdy, got hurt. And then they had to have multiple different quarterbacks in. And the Eagles pretty much just ran them over. As for the 49ers this year, let's just say they have had the absolute twists and turns kind of season you could have to make the playoffs. I mean, they started the season pretty okay, but oh my goodness, that injury bug from last year came back again and freaking took out a good amount of their players. They basically lost a good amount of their roster this year, but somehow, some way, they were still in the fight for the NFC West. But the Seahawks set that record straight on Saturday night. Yeah, baby, that was awesome. 13-3 win. And now that puts the San Francisco 49ers at the 6th seed, also because the Rams beat the absolute bums that are the Cardinals. So, yeah, the 49ers have had a very interesting season, to say the least. As for the Philadelphia Eagles, they haven't been great. I mean, for being the reigning Super Bowl champions, they really have not, had that Super Bowl mentality to me. I mean, they can win games, but just the way how they win them and then how sluggish that offense has been, I don't know, man. I just don't see the Eagles going very far. However, this is the San Francisco 49ers they're playing, and they're absolutely banged up, and the Eagles have had great history against the 49ers. So you kind of already know who I'm going to pick for this game, and I also don't like San Francisco in general. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. It might be ugly. They might play subpar for a good amount of the game, but I do think it'll be good enough to beat San Francisco because they clearly have not been that great. So, in the end, I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to knock out the San Francisco 49ers, meaning both of our NFC West rivals would already be knocked out of the playoffs, which would be amazing. Could you imagine if the Panthers upset the Rams and if the 49ers lose to the Eagles? That would be perfect for us. But anyways, Eagles are going to win this game. They will move on to the divisional round. And last but certainly not least, the last game for the NFC in the wild card and the last game overall for Super Wildcard Weekend. It's an NFC North showdown. Prime time on Saturday night. The 7th seed Green Bay Packers versus the 2 seed Chicago Bears. They meet again under the lights in Soldier Field. And if we remember the last game, Packers dominated, but the Bears made a big comeback in the 4th quarter. They got an onside kick, touchdown, field goal, take it to overtime, and they win. They win and beat the Packers. And now they're back again in Chicago. And now, as for the Packers, oh boy, their season has been up and down for sure. They started off really hot, beating the Lions and the Commanders, but then they went in to face Joe Flacco and the Browns, and wow. I mean, wow. You lost to the Browns? Wow, that was really unfortunate for Green Bay. And it was kind of an up and down season for them at that point, but they did manage to make the playoffs, and they did manage to tie in one game against the Cowboys, which was pretty freaking insane. As for the Chicago Bears, what a freaking glow up, man. I mean, to go from I mean, to go from Matt Eberflus last year, who couldn't even call a freaking timeout in the Thanksgiving game, to then going to a Lions, I think Lions offensive coordinator he was, Ben freaking Johnson. Oh my goodness, what a glow up for the Bears. They have had a really good season. And they're the NFC North champions. What a season for Chicago. And you know what? It's a home game in Chicago. I know the Bears have not won a playoff game in a very long time. But you know what? I think this time, I think I could actually see the other outcome happening this time. Yes, I think the Chicago Bears are going to beat the Green Bay Packers at home. This is a big playoff game for Chicago. I think they really know that this is a must-win game, and I think they're going to go out there and they're going to play the best football they've played in a while. And I think they're really going to take it out on Green Bay, especially for a playoff spot in the next round. And if we know anything, the Packers and the Bears do not like each other. So either way, I have a feeling this game could be cinema. So, yeah. Packers are going to lose. Bears will win. Bears will move on to the divisional round. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the divisional round. 8 teams remain, and now our 1 seeds are ready to play the teams that played in the wild card. So without further ado, let's get into who I think is going to move on to the conference championships. All right, starting us off in the AFC, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going in to face the New England Patriots. This could definitely be a fun matchup. And I know the Patriots, they did beat the Chargers in this scenario, but now they're facing a legit team. They're facing the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they have been on an absolute roll. You probably know who I'm going to pick for this game. And Patriots fans, this might shock you. I'm going to do it. I'm going to advance the Jacksonville Jaguars to the AFC Championship game and take out the New England Patriots. The Patriots, when they seem to face a real team, they lose. They lost to Buffalo earlier in the year, so I think they're going to lose this game and Jacksonville will win. The Jaguars will move on to the AFC Championship. Moving on, we got the Houston Texans going in to face the 1 seed Denver Broncos. What a season it has been for Denver. I mean, wow. To go from the season they had last year to this year is pretty wild. I mean, Sean Payton has taken this team to an AFC West title, and they're in the playoffs again, this time as the 1 seed. And also, the Kansas City Chiefs did not win the AFC West. Round of applause for Denver for taking out the Chiefs for good. The Chiefs dynasty is over. You love to see it. But anyways, who do I think is going to win? Houston has a really good defense, and Denver is the 1 seed. Can they pull one out in Mile High and advance to the AFC Championship in Denver? I have big belief that the Denver Broncos are going to go to the AFC Championship game. I mean, yeah, they haven't played the best football, but you look at it. Even when they're down by several points, they find a way to win these games. I think the Broncos, they might be trailing for a good amount of the game, but then in the 4th quarter, they're going to make a crazy comeback and get it done and advance to the AFC Championship to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I have the Denver Broncos moving on to the AFC Championship. And now we move on to the NFC. We got the Philadelphia Eagles going in to face the Chicago Bears. Now, the Eagles, like I said, they haven't played that well this year. Meanwhile, Chicago has played some pretty dang good ball this year. And you know what? I think Chicago keeps the ball rolling. I think the Bears are going to go to the NFC Championship game. And this is going to be a home game at Soldier Field in this scenario. So I definitely feel like they're going to win. And also, the Eagles have not been that great in these kind of situations. So the Bears kind of have the upper hand here. So I'm going to take the Chicago Bears to advance to the NFC Championship game. And now it just comes down to the two teams of where it's going to be played. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the best for last. The last game of the divisional round, the last game of the divisional round for the NFC. The Carolina Panthers going into face my number one team, number one seed, NFC West champs, the freaking Seattle Seahawks. We are back, baby. Back in the playoffs after a 2-year hiatus. An unbelievable season. I just can't say enough how great this season has been. A 14-3 record, a franchise record, the most wins the Seahawks have had in the regular season in their entire history. It's incredible. And, man, wow, Sam Darnold's played well. Our offensive weapons, JSN, Cooper Kupp, AJ Barner, Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker. We actually have a running game. But oh boy, that defense, that Seahawks defense, we have a defense again. I can't believe it. Our defense is so freaking good. It's incredible. Mike McDonald, you absolute madman. Thank you. Just thank you so much for bringing the defensive power back to Seattle. Oh, man. And we're going against the Carolina Panthers in this scenario. And if you remember, in the regular season, we played these guys on the road in Carolina. And we also won that game. So, I don't have any sort of worries here. Now, is this game going to be close? Possibly. But then again, I think that Seahawks dark side defense is going to hold Bryce Young and that Panthers offense at bay. And not to mention, it's not going to be in Carolina. It's going to be in Seattle, where it's freaking loud. The 12s are going to bring the noise, and it's going to scare Bryce Young. And he's going to be running all over the place, all silly. And then DeMarcus Lawrence absolutely pounds him to the ground for a big sack. And the defense just does most of the work. Sam Darnold will play a pretty decent game. He'll get some passes. He'll get some touchdowns. Hand the ball off to Charbonnet and Walker for a few scores. Jason Myers will probably kick a field goal. But it's all going to come down to that defense. The defense is the key. And I think that's going to be enough for us to win this game. And we will host the NFC Championship in Seattle for the first time in over 10 years. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the conference championships, the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship. Who is going to go to the Super Bowl in Santa Clara? Let's find out. So here we are, the AFC Championship. The Jacksonville Jaguars going in to face the Denver Broncos in Mile High. A rematch of the Week 17 matchup, I believe, in the regular season. And if you remember that game, Denver just struggled all game against Jacksonville. So the Broncos are definitely looking for revenge in this sense of a game. But in the end, we all know how that last game ended. We all know how it ended. I definitely think that Bo Nix is going to try his hardest. That whole Broncos team is going to play their hearts out. But in the end, we remember what happened the last time these two teams met up in Denver. Jacksonville absolutely dominated them. And I think they're going to dominate the Broncos again. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars, the number 3 seed, going to the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. Duval is going to Santa Clara. Jags fans, get hyped. This could be the year. And well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the NFC Championship game. The Chicago Bears going in to face my Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks host the NFC Championship game for the first time in over a decade. The last time the Seahawks played in the NFC Championship overall and at home was January 2015 against the Green Bay Packers. That was a very, very long time ago. But now, in this scenario, Seattle is back. They are back in the NFC Championship game, and they're going to face off against Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. And while the Bears have been good this year, we also have seen the Bears have had their flaws. And honestly, with how good that defense is for Seattle, I really don't know if I can see Chicago coming into Seattle, especially with that home crowd screaming their lungs out. I don't think that's going to work out for Chicago. It'll be a close, hard-fought battle, I'm sure. But in the end, Sam Darnold is going to prove the critics wrong, and he is going to go to a Super Bowl. He'll play a solid game. The defense will do the work, and we will win the NFC and go to the Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks will be NFC champions. We are going to Santa Clara for a chance at a second Lombardi. Don't you ever forget that. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're down to our last two teams. Super Bowl 60 in Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. On the AFC side, we have Duval, the Jacksonville Jaguars, making their first ever Super Bowl appearance in franchise history. And on the NFC side, who have fought through 10 whole years, a whole decade of pain and misery to finally be back here. Your NFC champions and past Super Bowl champions in Super Bowl 48, the Seattle Seahawks, making their fourth Super Bowl appearance overall, looking to even the score with the 4 Super Bowls they have been in. And also trying to avenge themselves after absolute heartbreak in Super Bowl 49, 1 yard away from possibly becoming the next NFL dynasty. But that does not matter anymore. Going into Santa Clara and going to getting that ring is all that matters. So, looking at it, Jacksonville has a good offense. Trevor Lawrence has been playing good. Their defense has been solid too. The Seattle side, Sam Darnold has been playing solidly. The running game has been flowing. JSN, Cooper Kupp, and AJ Barner have been doing really good. I'd even say Eric Saubert. I'll throw him in there too, because he got that 2-point conversion for the win in overtime against the Rams. But of course, we got to talk about that defense. Oh boy, that Seahawks dark side defense. It is good. And I honestly feel like the defense is going to be the big factor. Because you know what they say. Offense can win you games. But defense can win you championships. And that's exactly what Seattle has. So, in conclusion, the Seattle Seahawks will win the Super Bowl. I'm calling my shot right now. This team looks dangerous. This is the best Seahawks team I have seen in years. And I actually have confidence that this team can go all the way. The Seattle Seahawks are going to win Super Bowl 60. They will bring the Lombardi back to the Pacific Northwest. And it is going to be an absolute party in Seattle. And the parade in February is going to be glorious. So with that being said, the Seattle Seahawks are the team I am picking to win the Super Bowl. They also have the highest odds when you look at it. So Seattle, they've got a good shot. They've got a good shot. They are the favorites, and I think they're going to execute and win the Super Bowl and bring the Vince Lombardi Trophy back to the Emerald City. Seahawks will win Super Bowl 60. Remember this. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it. Those are my predictions for the NFL playoffs. Do you agree or disagree with my predictions? Do you agree with who I have as Super Bowl champion? Let me know down in the comments below. Feel free to tell me how I'm an absolute idiot. Feel free to tell me. While you're at it, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. I will definitely try out to get more big video projects out this year, considering that I am now in my own place. I don't have all the struggles I had when I was in Ferndale, so it's definitely a little better for me now. So I should be more motivated to get a lot of video projects done this year. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all enjoy the NFL playoffs, and whoever you're rooting for, good luck out there. So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, go Hawks, all the way to the Super Bowl.